Hello, Taylor. How are you doing?
I'm good, Taylor. I love the name.
I love your name too. I told Tanya you might as well tell Taylor I love her name.
We did.
We're
Our,
here.
our conversations were actually pretty interesting. We were calling you T because you were getting so confused getting back and forth there.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people call me Tori, so call me whatever you need to. Um, yeah, like I go by whatever. They actually, it's funny. They like mix my first and my last name, which is so ironic. But I mean,
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
yeah, right. So I see these Beatles posters in the background. Is your whole team Beatles fans? Because Tanya actually had some too.
Yeah, so Tanya and I are, so we get along pretty well, but we've got some haters out there that think Beatles are overrated, and we just don't give them the time of day.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
We were talking in our last meeting about Here Comes the Sun and how it's just such a great song. I listen to it every
Oh,
morning as
yeah.
my like alarm sound.
Yeah, it's good to wake up to. It's good to drive to. Love it.
For sure. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. I know we talked about 10 minutes, so is that still all right with you?
Yeah, that's great with me.
Okay, awesome. So, just to recap my last meeting with Tanya quickly, a couple of the problems that we uncovered was that there's really just a lack of like a consistent sales tool that makes it really hard as a trainer to train salespeople, and that seems like a really big problem for Tanya specifically. And
Mhm.
then just the lack of a tool that gives meaningful information that's useful for your whole team that can be applied to both the US and the UK market. So those were Taylor or Tanya's problems, but I just wanted to clarify and make sure that those were on the same page here. And if there's anything else that's a problem for you that you wanted me to talk about, you can definitely do that.
Yeah. So after talking with Tanya, um, she did mention those problems of her own as well. And one thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that our problem with turnover rate. So some of our team members are not really making quota, so we have some pretty high turnover right now, and which affects my job personally, but also affects Tanya as well since she's having to train new people.
Okay. Well, just to kind of talk about that problem a little bit as I'm sharing my screen here. So, let me share my whole desktop if it'll let me. I guess it won't, but this will work. So, I totally get the loss turnover thing, and I think that we'll be able to hit on that problem as I'm going through here and showing you the software a little bit more in depth. Because really, what XIQ's whole thing is really just employing your salespeople to have these insights from a personality perspective as well as from an industry perspective. I understand that Zeus is involved in multiple different industries, so I think it'll be a really beneficial tool for you moving forward, as all of your salespeople will have access to all of these different industry insights. I'll go ahead and share my screen with you here so we can just kind of dive into the actual software and what that really looks like. So this is essentially what your salespeople will see. And right now we're on the accounts page. So these are just accounts that I've saved to my profile. As you can see, Zeus is here. So your salespeople will really be able to go in and save certain accounts that they're trying to focus on. And I'll pull up Zeus here just so you can see. Um, Hopefully it translates. You can see it on your screen too, right?
Right, right. I'm seeing everything.
Right. So it gives you this brief overview, estimated revenue, how many employees they have. And then if we really dive into here, this is what I want to draw your attention to is these sales triggers. This is completely unique to XIQ, and it really allows your salespeople to go into those calls even more confidently, knowing that they have these tools and these insights available, which basically include, mergers and acquisitions, news from CXOs, and different things like that that they can pull into those conversations and have more tailored conversations with the accounts that they're talking with. So to hit on your point here with the high turnover, I really think that just having this information readily available in real time will really allow your salespeople to feel more confident going into those calls and be able to hit their quota a lot more easily. So I do think that we'll be able to solve that turnover problem for you. Just with all of the information that we've got here. You can go to sales triggers, even see like social media, what these companies are posting. Obviously, this is Zeus is here. So just a lot that's available here. And as far as from a scaling perspective, obviously that's important moving forward. You're trying to grow, and you can see here all of these executives, and you have the ability to
I know
go in.
those guys.
Yeah, right. So I also just want to show you here. So this network, I've saved Steve Peterson here. Obviously, you know him. Um, So I just want to show what you have available from a personality perspective with XIQ. Obviously, we have this DISC Insights here that's available for everyone. And this is really helpful, so your salespeople can go in and have those different conversations across both markets. Me and Tanya talked a lot about how difficult it is, going from the US to the UK and trying to train people on how to have efficient conversations when obviously everyone's personality is different. So what XIQ does is really fills in those gaps and allows your salespeople to understand the people that they're talking with and really just have more beneficial and tailored conversations. And you can even go more in depth here with the DISC Insights. And XIQ will actually give you, tools and tips, as you can see here, on how to make that conversation more effective for what your goals are and inevitably sell more. So from a salesperson perspective, obviously this is beneficial, but from a Tanya perspective in training, just having all of this available, I think will be a lot easier to go through and say like, all right, guys, let's all sit down and let's look at this and look up, name a company and you can look it up, right? And then go through like what it means and how to apply all of this information to different conversations across both markets. So from a consistent sales tool, obviously that was a problem that we talked about. Obviously XIQ really fills in that gap here and gives you a really consistent sales tool with everything that you would need. And I know Tanya mentioned at the beginning of our call that you guys were also using Salesforce, correct?
Yes, we
Yeah.
are using Salesforce.
So with these accounts, I mean, if we look back at Steve Peterson, if you were to add him to your network, it'll go ahead and it'll update all of this information into Salesforce right away. So it really just keeps everything, unified and just like a whole broader picture of the accounts that you're talking to and the people that you're talking to. So you can have just better conversations. I know.
Right. It's great to have something that would just already sync up with our Salesforce, because
Right.
that is something that we plan on continuing to use.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And it's a thing a lot of our customers have found really beneficial, just to have that real-time updates on these people and industries, but then also be able to apply that information to a tool you're already using. And lastly, I do just want to pull up here, this is industries. So I know you guys are involved with a lot of different industries. Let's talk about aviation for one. I know you guys are involved in the aerospace industry. You can go ahead and add it here to your industries as like from a quick I'm losing my train of thought here as far as what I'm trying to say, but like the network, you can save people here, you can save different industries. So
Right.
It'll go ahead and give you all of this news in real time about the aerospace industry. And what XIQ will actually do is it will curate emails and different alerts here. Let me move my thing. It will give you alerts here so that your salespeople are constantly updated on all of these different things based on the networks that they've chosen. So your salespeople will never be going in blind to a conversation, and they'll constantly be up to date on the different things that are important going into various conversations in various countries. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. Do you have any questions so far or any concerns?
I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. I could see how even someone might get lost in a good way on this. Wanting to read about relevant articles and things like that.
Right.
And I mean, at that point, then you're just informing yourself even more. One concern I do have is I do know somebody who was using XIQ and just wasn't a huge fan. And so I am kind of letting that person talk in my ear a little bit. And so that's just one concern of mine. He is just a long-standing veteran. He had trouble switching over, so I did want to just raise that concern with you.
Yeah. So I just want to really understand, what were his problems? Was it just that he had trouble, switching over just due to being on the older side?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's it. Sometimes people complain and their complaints are kind of solvable if they actually put in a little
Right.
But
Well,
I'm just trying to keep like an open conversation here, because I know with Crystal we do have pretty good relationship there, and so I just want to, like, when I hear something, I would like to be able to talk with you guys.
yeah, I totally get that. And Crystal is a great technology. But as I said, with Tanya, you do get these industry insights and different sales triggers that just are unique to XIQ. So I just want to make sure you know that we are adding some value. I know that you have been using Crystal for a while, but Tanya did mention there was some, I mean, going back to, your colleague who used XIQ, there's always going to be people that have trouble adopting that. And it seems like it might have been a problem for your salespeople using Crystal and just the lack of, like finding use for it. And I think that they didn't really know how to use it. So
Right.
I know with different sales technologies, it can be really confusing and really hard. So just want to bring your attention to, this is actually from our XIQ website here. And this is just an overview of that DISC analysis and goes into the different personalities and what all of those entail. And you can go in here to using DISC for different things. So like using DISC for communication, how you should change your approach and adapt your communication style and things like that. And then on the personalities here, it actually goes in depth. And like I said, this is accessible on our website. So it will be constantly there for any of your sales reps to use if they're confused on, what these different personality types mean. And for example, like DI, you can go in and understand their natural behaviors, their temperament. And so I do understand that it can be really daunting adopting a new technology. So I do want to just offer, some empathy there. I get it. I understand it. It can be a lot, especially when you're already paying for something right now. But I do feel like we have really worked out the kinks with XIQ and really allowed our website and our software to be really easy to use and easy to adopt. And I think that it wouldn't take very long at all for your salespeople to get used to this kind of thing, especially with resources like what I'm showing you now, easily accessible at the touch of a button, constantly whenever they need it.
Okay,
Did that clarify that kind of issue for you? I know it can be really scary and overwhelming.
You did, and I appreciate you kind of bearing with me there, because although like I can't come up with my own like real concerns in the moment, I did want to at least bring something
Right.
forward.
No, I get it. I completely get it. But other than that, do you have any other concerns or questions for me that I can kind of address here? Anything else you wanted to see from the XIQ website specifically?
I think for the most part, this is good with me. I would love to set up a time to kind of use it firsthand, if that would be an option.
Yeah, for sure. We can go ahead and set up like a free trial for you or however many salespeople you need it for, and maybe like a week or a month, whatever you guys need to kind of feel out the software and figure out if it's something that will be easily adopted by your sales force. But I do think, I mean, based on my conversation with Tanya and then my conversation with you, I really think that we'll be able to kind of hit on these problems of, having that clear, structured, concrete way of training salespeople with this kind of software, and then the ability to have, something that's like keeping all of your salespeople on the same page. All of the information I showed you can be easily downloaded into a PDF and shared with your whole team. So just having that meaningful information that will be applicable to both industries and all industries in both countries, I think would be really beneficial. And then of course we talked about the turnover. Just implementing this kind of software as a whole, I think will just allow your salespeople to be more confident, have more efficient conversations, and inevitably sell more and stay with your company a lot longer, which is better for everyone.
Yeah, that would be fantastic for us.
All right. Well, with all that being said, I'll go ahead and get the paperwork I need to get done for the free trial, and we can go ahead and get that started for you guys. But I really want to thank you for your time today. I really appreciated our talk and loved the ability to show you our software.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to meet with Tanya and bring this to me. This is great.
Of course, I'm glad. Have a great day.
You too.